You know that feeling of waking up in the middle of the night with your heart racing, your head heavy and pounding, with that silent fear that something bad could happen at any moment. You get out of bed, go to the bathroom, look in the mirror, and see your flushed face. Feel your temples throbbing, and in that instant, despair hits you because you know your blood pressure is high again. You rush to get the blood pressure monitor, place it on your arm, your hands shaking with anxiety. And when you see the numbers on the screen, your heart sinks even more because the readings are dangerously high. Is this scene familiar to you? How many times have you been there, feeling completely helpless, hostage to hypertension, dependent on medication that never seems to be enough, living in constant fear of a stroke or heart attack? How many nights of sleep have you lost because of this? How many plans have you canceled because you didn't feel well? How many times have you looked at your family and thought about how much they would suffer if something happened to you? I completely understand this anguish because I've spoken with thousands of people who live this daily nightmare of uncontrolled high blood pressure, people who have tried everything, who have followed every medical prescription, who take multiple medications daily and yet still experience fluctuating blood pressure, rising at the most inopportune moments, causing frightening symptoms like dizziness, blurred vision, intense headaches, ringing in the ears, shortness of breath, and that horrible feeling that something very serious could happen at any moment. And worst of all, conventional medicine often only offers more and more medications, increasing doses, adding new ones, creating ever-increasing dependency, without ever truly solving the root problem. But what if I told you there is a simple, natural method, validated by renowned cardiologists, that can help lower your blood pressure in just 5 minutes, using something you already have at home, without needing to take any additional medication, without spending money, without side effects? Before revealing this revolutionary method that has changed the lives of thousands of people with high blood pressure around the world, I need to make an important request of you. If you're watching this video and truly want to discover natural and effective solutions to control your blood pressure, please subscribe to this channel right now and turn on the notification bell. I publish weekly videos with valuable information on how to control hypertension naturally, based on serious scientific studies and the experience of health professionals. This channel was created especially for you if you're tired of being dependent on medication, want to regain your quality of life, and want to sleep soundly without fear of a hypertensive crisis during the night. Here you'll find a community of people on the same journey as you, seeking health and well-being through proven natural methods. So don't waste time, click the subscribe button now, because the content I'm going to share with you today could literally save your life. Now, let's get down to business. The method I'm going to reveal to you today is called the cold water ritual, and it's been validated by several scientific studies published in prestigious international medical journals. Cardiologists around the world are beginning to recommend this technique to their patients because the results are simply impressive. But before I explain exactly how to perform this ritual, I need you to understand what actually happens in your body when your blood pressure rises uncontrollably, because only then will you understand why this method works so well and so quickly. When your blood pressure is high, your heart is forced to pump blood much harder than it should, creating excessive pressure within your arteries. Imagine a garden hose with the tap turned on full blast but the nozzle partially closed. The water will start to press against the walls of the hose with great force, right? That's exactly what happens inside your body when you have hypertension. Your arteries are under immense pressure, and this literally damages the walls of your blood vessels, creating inflammation, facilitating the buildup of fatty plaques, and dramatically increasing the risk of a ruptured blood vessel in the brain causing a stroke, or a blocked artery in the heart causing a heart attack. But there's something even more important you need to understand. When your blood pressure suddenly rises, especially during times of stress, anxiety, or nervousness, what's happening is that your sympathetic nervous system has been activated. This is the system responsible for your body's fight-or-flight response, that primitive reaction our ancestors had when faced with mortal danger, like a wild animal. In these situations, the body releases a cascade of hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, which make your heart beat faster and harder. Your arteries constrict, and consequently, your blood pressure skyrockets. The problem is that in our modern lives, this system is constantly activated by everyday stressors, bills to pay, work problems, family arguments, and various worries keeping your blood pressure chronically high. And this is precisely where the incredible power of the cold water ritual comes in. When you apply cold water to specific points on your body, especially your face and extremities, You activate something called the mammalian diving reflex, also known as the vagal reflex. This is a powerful mechanism that all mammals possess, including us humans, and which has been developed over millions of years of evolution to protect us when we dive into cold water. What happens is that the contact of cold water with your face, especially around the eyes, nose, and cheeks, sends direct signals to the vagus nerve, which is the main nerve of your parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is the complete opposite of the sympathetic system I mentioned earlier. While the sympathetic system speeds things up and increases blood pressure, the parasympathetic system slows things down, calms, and relaxes. When the vagus nerve is stimulated by cold water, it immediately begins sending signals to your heart to slow down, your arteries to relax and dilate, your breathing to slow down and deepen, and consequently, your blood pressure begins to drop naturally and rapidly. It's as if you're flipping a switch that turns off your body's entire stress system and activates the relaxation and recovery system. But that's not all. The application of cold water also causes an immediate response in your peripheral blood vessels. Initially, these vessels constrict due to the thermal shock, but soon after, compensatory vasodilation occurs, where these vessels open much wider than they were before. This process helps redistribute blood volume throughout the body, relieving the load on the heart and major arteries, further contributing to lowering blood pressure. Furthermore, contact with cold water stimulates the release of endorphins, those natural feel-good hormones, which help reduce the perception of pain, decrease anxiety, and improve mood. All of these factors together create a much more favorable internal environment for normalizing blood pressure. Now you might be wondering, but how exactly do I perform this cold water ritual? It's very simple, much simpler than you might think, and you can do it anywhere you have access to cold water. Whether at home, at work, or even in a public restroom if you're feeling sick on the street. I'll teach you exactly how to do it step by step, and pay close attention because every detail is important to achieve the best possible results. The first step is to recognize when your blood pressure is rising. You're probably already familiar with your body's signals that discomfort in your chest, your head starting to feel heavy, the feeling of heat in your face, the slight dizziness, your heart racing. When you notice these symptoms, don't panic, because panic will only worsen the situation by further increasing the release of adrenaline. Instead, take a few deep breaths, calmly acknowledge that your blood pressure is rising, and immediately proceed to the place where you will perform the ritual. You'll need cold water, and when I say cold, I mean really cold water, not ice-cold water, which can cause excessive thermal shock, but very cold tap water, or water that's been in the refrigerator. If you're at home, go to the bathroom or kitchen sink. If you're at work, go to a bathroom or pantry. The important thing is to have access to cold running water or a bowl where you can wet your hands and face. Now comes the technique itself. First, turn on the cold water faucet and let the water run for a few seconds until it's very cold. Meanwhile, begin to breathe consciously and slowly, inhaling deeply through your nose for a count of 4, holding it for 2 seconds, and exhaling slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Do this 3 or 4 times to begin calming your nervous system. Now, bend over the sink and thoroughly splash your face with cold water, paying special attention to the area around your eyes, nose, cheeks, and forehead. Hold your face in the cold water for at least 30 seconds, and up to a minute. If you have a bowl or basin, you can fill it with cold water and literally immerse your face in it, holding your breath for as long as is comfortable. While your face is in the cold water, continue breathing slowly and deeply through your nose as you lift your head. After thoroughly wetting your face, also wet your hands and wrists, letting the cold water run over them for at least 20 seconds. The wrists are points where large arteries pass very close to the surface of the skin, so cooling this area helps lower the temperature of the blood circulating there, contributing to the overall calming effect. If possible, also wet the back of the neck, which is another area rich in nerve receptors that respond to cold stimuli. While you're doing this, it's crucial to keep your mind focused on the process, consciously feeling the cold water touching your skin, noticing the sensations, and mentally visualizing your blood pressure dropping, your arteries relaxing, and your heart beating more calmly and rhythmically. This combination of physical stimulation and mental intention greatly enhances the results. After completing contact with the cold water, don't dry yourself immediately. Let the water evaporate naturally from your skin, as the evaporation process continues to create a cooling effect that prolongs the benefits. Sit comfortably if possible, or stand in a relaxed position. and continue breathing slowly and deeply for another 2 or 3 minutes. This is when you'll start to feel the effects truly take hold. You'll notice your heart slowing down, the pressure in your head easing, the heat in your face subsiding, and a general feeling of relaxation taking over your body. Scientific studies have shown that this ritual, when performed correctly, can reduce systolic blood pressure by up to 20 to 30 points in just 5 minutes. A study published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology in 2019 followed a group of hypertensive patients who regularly practiced cold water facial immersion, and the results were surprising. More than 70% of participants experienced significant reductions in blood pressure, both immediately after the procedure and over the following weeks when they began performing the ritual preventively. Another study conducted at the University of Cambridge demonstrated that stimulating the diving reflex through facial contact with cold water not only reduces blood pressure acutely but also helps improve cardiovascular regulation over the long term when practiced consistently. Researchers observed that participants who performed the ritual twice daily for 8 weeks experienced improvements in heart rate variability, an important marker of cardiovascular health, and also reported reductions in anxiety and perceived stress levels. But I need to make an important caveat here. This ritual is extremely effective in times of crisis, when your blood pressure suddenly rises and you need to lower it quickly. But it does not replace your prescribed medication and should not be used as your sole strategy for controlling hypertension. What I'm offering you here is an additional tool, an emergency technique that can literally save your life in a critical moment, but which can also be incorporated as a preventative practice into your daily routine to help keep your blood pressure more stable overall. Now, let me tell you about 2 more elements you can add to the cold water ritual to further enhance the results. The first element is pranayama breathing, an ancient breathing control technique derived from yoga. While your face is wet with cold water, perform the following breathing sequence. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 7, and exhale through your mouth, making a soft blowing sound for a count of 8. Repeat this sequence at least 5 times. This breathing technique further activates the vagus nerve and dramatically enhances your body's parasympathetic response, accelerating the drop in blood pressure. The second element is guided visualization. While performing the ritual, close your eyes and mentally visualize your arteries as tense, constricted hoses that begin to relax and expand. Visualize your heart beating rapidly at first, then gradually slowing down until it finds a calm, regular rhythm. Visualize the blood flowing smoothly through your vessels without encountering resistance. It may seem silly, but the science of psychoneuroimmunology has amply demonstrated that our minds have immense power over our physiological processes, and conscious visualization can positively influence our blood pressure, heart rate, and overall health. Now I want to take a break from the content to ask you a very important question, and I want you to answer it in the comments. Have you ever had a hypertensive crisis that really scared you? That moment when you took your blood pressure and saw alarming numbers, felt intense symptoms, and were terrified of what might happen? If so, write in the comments, "I've had a hypertensive crisis and it was scary." And also, tell me what your blood pressure was at that moment and what you did to control it. Your answer can help many other people going through the same situation, and it also helps me create increasingly relevant content for you. So be sure to comment now. It's very important. Returning to our topic, in addition to using the cold water ritual in times of crisis, you can and should also incorporate it as a daily preventative practice. Many people who began performing this ritual in the morning, right after waking up, and again at night, before bed, reported significant improvements in blood pressure control over time. What happens is that regular stimulation of the vagus nerve helps rebalance your autonomic nervous system, causing you to have a less exaggerated stress response throughout the day, keeping your blood pressure more stable even in situations that would previously trigger a crisis. Think of it as a workout for your nervous system. Just as you can train your muscles in the gym to become stronger, you can train your parasympathetic nervous system to be more responsive and efficient. Through regular practice of the cold water ritual, over time, your body will become increasingly better at activating this relaxation response, and you'll notice that your hypertensive crises become less frequent, less intense, and easier to control. But now let's talk about the second powerful method you can use in conjunction with the cold water ritual to achieve even more effective blood pressure control. This second method involves a specific food with impressive vasodilatory properties, which you probably have in your kitchen or can easily find at any grocery store. I'm talking about raw garlic. Yes, that common garlic you use to season food, but which is rarely consumed raw because of its strong flavor and the bad breath it leaves. But let me tell you something. If you really want to control your hypertension naturally, you need to give raw garlic a try, because the benefits are absolutely extraordinary and widely proven by science. Garlic contains a compound called allicin, which is formed when you crush or chop fresh garlic. Allicin is a sulfur-containing substance that has multiple beneficial effects on the cardiovascular system. First, it stimulates the production of nitric oxide in the cells of the vascular endothelium, which is the inner lining of your arteries. Nitric oxide is one of the most powerful natural vasodilators in existence, causing your arteries to relax and expand, allowing blood to flow much more easily and consequently reducing blood pressure. Furthermore, garlic has natural anticoagulant properties, helping prevent the formation of blood clots that could cause a stroke or heart attack. It also helps reduce bad cholesterol and triglyceride levels, reducing the buildup of fatty plaques in the arteries, and has potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, protecting the walls of your blood vessels from damage. Several scientific studies have demonstrated garlic's effectiveness in controlling hypertension. A meta-analysis published in BMC Cardiovascular Disorders in 2020, which reviewed 12 randomized clinical trials involving more than 500 hypertensive participants, concluded that garlic supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 8 points and diastolic blood pressure by an average of 5 points. This may not seem like much, but considering that this was achieved with garlic alone, without any medication, and that a reduction of just 5 points in systolic blood pressure significantly reduces the risk of cardiovascular events, these numbers are truly impressive. Another Australian study published in 2016 compared aged garlic extract with a common antihypertensive medication and found that garlic was as effective as the medication in lowering blood pressure, but without the side effects associated with medications such as dizziness, fatigue, and dry cough. Participants who used garlic also reported improvements in quality of life and reductions in inflammatory markers in their blood. But be careful. To reap all these benefits, cooking garlic with your food isn't a good idea, as the heat destroys much of the allicin and other active compounds. You need to consume garlic raw, preferably crushed or finely chopped, to maximize allicin release. I know the strong taste and smell can be unpleasant, but there are some strategies you can use to make consumption more tolerable. The first strategy is to mix chopped raw garlic with a little honey. Honey helps mask the strong garlic flavor and also adds its own cardiovascular benefits. You can finely chop 1 or 2 garlic cloves, mix with a spoonful of honey, and swallow quickly, followed by a glass of water. Do this preferably in the morning on an empty stomach for better absorption. The second strategy is to make a garlic shot with extra virgin olive oil. Crush a clove of garlic, let it sit for 10 minutes to allow maximum allicin formation. Mix with a tablespoon of olive oil, and drink it like a shot of a drink. The olive oil helps load the garlic's active compounds and also adds its own anti-inflammatory properties. The third strategy is to make an avocado garlic paste. Mash half an avocado with 1 or 2 crushed garlic cloves, add a little salt and lemon, and enjoy with whole grain toast or as a side dish. Avocado contains healthy fats that aid in the absorption of garlic compounds and also mask the strong flavor. As for the strong breath that garlic leaves, you can chew fresh mint or parsley leaves immediately after consuming garlic. Or take a shot of lemon juice, as these foods help neutralize the sulfur compounds responsible for the odor. Additionally, brushing your teeth thoroughly and using mouthwash also helps a lot. The recommended dose is 1 to 2 cloves of raw garlic per day. If you've never consumed raw garlic before, start with half a clove per day for the first week to let your body get used to it, then gradually increase. Some people may experience mild stomach discomfort at first, especially if consumed on an empty stomach. So if this happens to you, consume the garlic after a light meal until your stomach adjusts. An important precaution: if you take anticoagulant medications like warfarin or have blood clotting problems, consult your doctor before starting to consume raw garlic regularly, as garlic has natural anticoagulant properties that can interact with these medications. Similarly, if you're going to have surgery, stop consuming garlic at least a week beforehand, as it can increase the risk of bleeding. Now let's talk about the third powerful element you can use to further enhance your hypertension control. An often overlooked element that has a huge impact: magnesium. This essential mineral is directly involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body. including relaxing arterial smooth muscle, regulating heart rate, and balancing the levels of other minerals like calcium and potassium. The fact is that the vast majority of people with hypertension are magnesium deficient without even knowing it. This deficiency occurs for several reasons. The soil where our food is grown is increasingly mineral poor due to intensive agriculture. Our modern diet is rich in processed foods that are low in magnesium. Chronic stress greatly increases the body's magnesium expenditure. And many medications commonly used by hypertensive patients, such as diuretics, increase magnesium excretion in the urine. When you're magnesium deficient, your arteries have difficulty relaxing properly, remaining in a state of constriction that raises blood pressure. Furthermore, magnesium deficiency causes dysregulation in the cell's calcium channels, allowing too much calcium to enter the arterial muscle cells, causing excessive contraction and, consequently, hypertension. Magnesium is also essential for the production of nitric oxide, that natural vasodilator I mentioned earlier when discussing garlic. Scientific studies have repeatedly shown that magnesium supplementation can significantly reduce blood pressure. A meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Hypertension in 2020 reviewed 34 clinical studies involving over 2,000 participants and concluded that magnesium supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 5 points and diastolic blood pressure by an average of 3 points. Even more interesting, the effect was more pronounced in people who had low magnesium levels at the start of the study, suggesting that correcting the deficiency is indeed key. Another study published in the Journal of Human Hypertension demonstrated that magnesium supplementation not only reduces blood pressure but also improves endothelial function, which is the ability of arteries to relax and contract appropriately in response to bodily stimuli. Participants who took magnesium for 12 weeks showed significant improvements in markers of vascular function and also reported a reduction in symptoms associated with hypertension, such as headache, dizziness, and palpitations. But here's a crucial detail. Not all types of magnesium are well absorbed by the body. The most common forms sold in pharmacies, such as magnesium oxide and magnesium carbonate, have very low bioavailability, meaning very little of the mineral is actually absorbed, and the rest is eliminated in the feces, potentially causing diarrhea. The most effective forms for controlling hypertension are magnesium dimalate, magnesium threonate, magnesium taurate, and magnesium glycinate. Magnesium taurate is particularly beneficial for those with high blood pressure because it combines magnesium with the amino acid taurine, which also has beneficial cardiovascular properties. Taurine helps reduce peripheral vascular resistance and has a calming effect on the nervous system, enhancing the benefits of magnesium. Magnesium glycinate is excellent for people with anxiety or difficulty sleeping, because glycine has relaxing properties and improves sleep quality, and we know that inadequate sleep is a major contributing factor to hypertension. The recommended dose of elemental magnesium for adults is 300 to 400 milligrams per day. But many experts suggest higher doses for those with high blood pressure, up to 600 milligrams per day divided into 2 or 3 doses. Ideally, start with a lower dose and gradually increase to avoid intestinal discomfort. Take magnesium, preferably with meals, for better absorption and a lower risk of gastrointestinal side effects. In addition to supplementation, you can and should also increase your intake of magnesium-rich foods. The best sources are dark green leafy vegetables, like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard, seeds like pumpkin, sunflower, and sesame seeds, walnuts, and almonds, pure cocoa, avocados, bananas, and legumes, like black beans and chickpeas. Try to include at least a generous serving of green vegetables at each meal and have a daily snack with a handful of seeds or nuts. A valuable tip that many people don't know about is the magnesium bath, also called an Epsom salt bath. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, and when you bathe in warm water with this dissolved salt, the magnesium is absorbed through the skin directly into the bloodstream, helping to quickly raise the mineral's levels. Add 2 cups of Epsom salt to a tub of warm water and soak for 20 to 30 minutes. Besides providing magnesium, this bath is extremely relaxing and helps reduce stress, contributing to normal blood pressure. Do this 2 to 3 times a week and you'll notice the difference. Now, let me put all this together into a complete protocol you can follow to achieve much more effective control of your hypertension naturally. In the morning, as soon as you wake up, perform the cold water ritual I taught, even if you're not experiencing high blood pressure symptoms. This will help start your day with your parasympathetic nervous system activated. keeping you calmer and with more stable blood pressure throughout the day. Immediately after the ritual, still fasting, consume your raw garlic clove, mixed with honey or olive oil, whichever way you prefer. Wait about 30 minutes and then have breakfast, which should include magnesium-rich foods like a banana smoothie with spinach and cocoa powder, or an omelet with spinach and avocado, or yogurt with pumpkin seeds and almonds. Throughout the day, stay well hydrated by drinking at least 2 liters of water, as dehydration can contribute to high blood pressure. Avoid excessive coffee, as caffeine can cause blood pressure spikes, especially in sensitive individuals. If you're a heavy coffee drinker, limit yourself to 1 or 2 cups in the morning and avoid it completely after noon. Include calming teas like chamomile, hibiscus, or valerian throughout the day, especially when you feel most stressed or anxious. Midday, take your magnesium dose with lunch. Make sure your meal includes quality proteins, a variety of vegetables, and healthy fats. Avoid ultra-processed foods, high in sodium, sugar, and trans fats, as these foods are poisonous for people with hypertension. Drastically reduce your regular table salt intake and replace it with pink Himalayan salt or whole sea salt, which contain other beneficial minerals in addition to sodium. Use herbs and spices to flavor your food, such as rosemary, oregano, turmeric, ginger, and black pepper, which, in addition to being tasty, have anti-inflammatory properties. In the late afternoon, if possible, take a 20 to 30-minute walk. Moderate exercise is one of the most powerful natural remedies for hypertension, helping to improve cardiovascular health, reduce stress, control weight, and improve insulin sensitivity. You don't need to kill yourself at the gym. A simple daily walk makes a huge difference. If you can't walk, do stretching, yoga, or any other light physical activity that suits your condition. At night, about an hour before bed, perform the cold water ritual again. This will help calm your nervous system and prepare your body for a night of restorative sleep. Take your second dose of magnesium with dinner, which should be a lighter meal than lunch. Avoid eating too close to bedtime because heavy digestion can disrupt sleep and even cause high blood pressure during the night. Create a proper sleep routine by going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, even on weekends. Your bedroom should be dark, quiet, and at a comfortable temperature. Avoid using your cell phone, tablet, or watching television in bed, as the blue light from these devices interferes with melatonin production and disrupts sleep quality. Inadequate sleep is directly linked to increased blood pressure, so prioritize your 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night. 2 or 3 times a week, take your Epsom salt bath at night, replacing your second cold water ritual. This warm magnesium bath is deeply relaxing and will help you sleep much better. In addition to effectively raising your magnesium levels, use this time to practice the conscious breathing and visualization I taught you, transforming your bath into a complete healing and relaxing ritual. On weekends, if possible, spend some time in nature. Studies show that being in nature, whether in a park, beach, mountain, or forest, has profound effects on reducing blood pressure and cortisol levels. Simply contemplating natural landscapes activates relaxation responses in the brain. Combine this with the cold water ritual if you're near a river, waterfall, or beach, and the benefits will be even greater. Regarding the emotional aspect, which is absolutely crucial for controlling hypertension, you need to develop strategies to better manage stress, anxiety, and the negative emotions that inevitably arise in life. Consider practicing mindfulness meditation for 10 to 15 minutes daily. There are several free apps that can guide you in this practice. Meditation has proven effects on lowering blood pressure, as it helps regulate the autonomic nervous system and reduce reactivity to stress. Another extremely valuable practice is journaling, which involves writing daily about your thoughts, emotions, worries, and gratitude. Set aside 10 minutes before bed to write down everything that's bothering you, what you're feeling, and what good moments of the day you're grateful for. This process of externalizing emotions helps you process them better and prevents them from becoming trapped in your body, generating chronic tension that increases blood pressure. If you have unresolved conflicts with people close to you, seek to resolve these issues through honest conversations. Stored hurts, resentments, and repressed anger all generate a chronic inflammatory state in the body and keep the sympathetic nervous system hyperactive, contributing to hypertension. Sometimes a sincere conversation, an apology, or simply deciding to forgive and move on can have a greater impact on your blood pressure than you might think. Also, seek to cultivate meaningful relationships and have a strong social support network. People who feel lonely and isolated have much higher rates of hypertension than those who have close friends and a community where they feel they belong. Join groups, clubs, religious or spiritual communities, any environment where you can genuinely connect with others. Human connection is one of the most powerful remedies for cardiovascular health. If you have a pet, especially a dog, know that it's extremely beneficial for your blood pressure. Studies show that petting an animal immediately reduces blood pressure and cortisol levels. Dogs also force you to take a daily walk, which adds the added benefit of physical exercise. If you don't have a pet and love animals, seriously consider adopting one, because the benefits go far beyond controlling your blood pressure. Regarding alcohol consumption, if you drink, drastically reduce it or eliminate it completely. Alcohol has a biphasic effect on blood pressure. In small amounts, it can even cause mild, temporary vasodilation, but regular consumption in larger quantities significantly raises blood pressure and damages the heart and blood vessels. If you have difficulty quitting drinking, seek professional help, because continuing to drink alcohol while trying to control hypertension is like trying to fill a leaky bucket. The same goes for smoking. If you smoke, quitting should be your absolute #1 priority, above any other intervention. Each cigarette you smoke causes an acute rise in blood pressure that lasts about 30 minutes. So if you smoke a pack a day, your blood pressure is elevated virtually all the time. Furthermore, smoking irreversibly damages your arteries, creating chronic inflammation and facilitating the buildup of plaque that leads to heart attacks and strokes. There are numerous resources available to help you quit smoking, from nicotine patches to medications and behavioral therapies. Use all the resources necessary, but stop now. A very important point I need to address: you won't be able to do all of this perfectly every day, and that's okay. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is consistent progress. There will be days when you'll forget to do the cold water ritual, or eat something you know you shouldn't, or go to bed late, and that doesn't mean you've failed or that you should give up. What matters is that most of the time you're following the protocol, making better choices, and moving in the right direction. Be compassionate with yourself. Hypertension is a chronic condition that you've likely developed over years or decades of poor habits, accumulated stress, and possibly a genetic predisposition. You won't reverse it overnight. But with consistency, patience, and the right strategies, you absolutely can significantly improve your blood pressure control, reduce your dependence on medication, and most importantly, dramatically improve your quality of life. Monitor your blood pressure regularly, always taking it at the same time of day, preferably in the morning before taking your medication and after emptying your bladder. Record your readings in a notebook or app to identify patterns. If you notice your blood pressure is consistently lower after a few weeks of following this protocol, talk to your doctor about adjusting your medications. Never reduce or stop taking your medication on your own. Always do so under medical supervision. And since we're talking about medical follow-up, it's crucial that you continue your regular checkups and routine exams. The natural protocol I'm teaching you doesn't replace medical follow-up, it complements it. You should have regular blood tests to assess cholesterol, triglycerides, blood sugar, kidney function, liver function, magnesium, and potassium levels. Also, have an electrocardiogram and echocardiogram as directed by your doctor to assess your heart health. Inform your doctor about all the natural strategies you're using. A good doctor will support your efforts to improve your lifestyle habits and use natural resources, especially if you're experiencing positive results. If your doctor is completely closed to natural approaches and only wants to increase your medications, it may be time to seek a more open-minded and up-to-date professional who practices integrative medicine, combining the best of conventional medicine with evidence-based natural strategies. Before I close, I want to talk to you about something rarely discussed but that has a huge impact on hypertension: spiritual connection and a sense of purpose in life. People who have a regular spiritual practice, whatever it may be, and who feel their lives have purpose and meaning, have significantly lower rates of hypertension and other cardiovascular diseases. This has nothing to do with a specific religion, but rather with having something bigger than yourself that you believe in. That gives you hope. That makes you feel part of something important. Reflect on what gives meaning to your life. It could be your family, your children or grandchildren, a job you love, a cause you fight for, a spiritual belief, a hobby you're passionate about. Cultivate those things that make your eyes shine, that make you want to wake up in the morning, that give you joy and satisfaction. When you have strong reasons to live, to take care of yourself, to be present, your body responds positively on all levels, including regulating blood pressure. Practice gratitude daily. Before bed, think of 3 things you're grateful for that day. They can be simple things like a delicious meal, a hug from a loved one, a ray of sunshine through the window, or a smile from a stranger on the street. Cultivating gratitude completely changes your outlook on life, reduces anxiety and depression, and has measurable effects on cardiovascular health markers. Forgive the people who hurt you, not for their sake, but for your own. Carrying hurt and resentment is like taking poison and hoping the other person dies. It only harms you, keeping your body in a state of chronic stress. Forgiveness doesn't mean accepting what was done or reconnecting with the person. It simply means freeing yourself from the emotional burden you're carrying. And finally, learn to laugh more. Laughter is a powerful medicine that immediately lowers blood pressure, releases endorphins, relaxes tense muscles, and improves the immune system. Watch comedies, follow funny social media pages, surround yourself with people who make you laugh, allow yourself to be silly and have fun. Life is hard enough. You deserve moments of lightness and joy. Now I want you to stop for a moment and imagine what your life would be like if you could effectively control your blood pressure. Imagine waking up without the constant fear of a crisis. Without having to worry about every dizziness or headache, whether it's something serious. Imagine being able to travel with peace of mind, make plans without fear, play with your grandchildren, and enjoy life without that dark cloud of worry always hanging over your head. Imagine having energy during the day, sleeping well at night, and feeling good about yourself knowing you're actively and effectively taking care of your health. All of this is absolutely possible for you. It won't be easy. It will require commitment, discipline, and changing habits that have been ingrained for years. But I guarantee you, every effort is worth it. Every time you perform the cold water ritual instead of panicking, every time you choose nutritious food over processed food, every time you walk instead of being sedentary, you are literally saving your own life, adding years of quality to your existence. And you're not alone on this journey. Thousands of people around the world are doing exactly the same thing, facing the same challenges, celebrating the same victories. This channel exists to support you, to provide you with reliable information, to remind you that you are capable, that you deserve health, that you can control your hypertension and live a full and happy life. So, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, do so now. Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive notifications for all our videos. Every week I publish new content about natural hypertension control, healthy recipes, relaxation techniques, everything you need to succeed on this journey. Like this video if you found it helpful, as this helps the algorithm show this content to more people who need it. And don't forget to comment. Tell us in the comments if you've already heard of the cold water ritual, if you're going to start practicing it, and what your biggest challenges are in controlling your blood pressure. I read all comments and respond as often as I can. Your participation not only helps me create better content, but also helps others who read the comments and identify with your experiences. Share this video with someone you know who has hypertension. It could be a family member, a friend, a neighbor, or a coworker. You could literally save someone's life by sharing this information. Hypertension is a silent epidemic that kills millions of people every year, but it can be controlled when people have access to the right information and the right tools. Before we wrap up, let me give you one last quick summary of everything you've learned today. The cold water ritual is a simple, yet extremely powerful technique that activates your vagal reflex and parasympathetic nervous system, rapidly reducing blood pressure in times of crisis and helping to maintain more stable blood pressure when practiced preventively. You should generously wet your face, hands, wrists, and neck with cold water, maintaining contact for at least 30 seconds, while breathing slowly and deeply. Raw garlic, consumed daily in doses of 1 to 2 cloves, provides allicin, which stimulates the production of nitric oxide, a powerful natural vasodilator. Crush or chop the garlic and let it rest for 10 minutes before eating to maximize allicin production. It's best to consume it on an empty stomach, mixed with honey or olive oil. Magnesium is essential for arterial relaxation, and most people with high blood pressure are deficient in this mineral. Supplementing with 300 to 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium per day, using well-absorbed forms such as glycinate or taurate, can significantly reduce blood pressure. Also, include magnesium-rich foods and take regular Epsom salt baths. In addition to these 3 core strategies, you've learned about the importance of mindful breathing. visualization, regular exercise, adequate sleep, stress management, meaningful social connections, spirituality, and life purpose. All of these elements work synergistically to create an internal environment conducive to hypertension control. Always remember, you are far more powerful than you realize. Your body has an incredible ability to heal and regulate itself when you provide the right conditions. Hypertension doesn't have to be a lifelong sentence of medication alone. You can take control of your health, make informed choices, implement positive changes, and see real, lasting results. Start today, right now. Don't wait for Monday, the beginning of the month, or the new year. Every moment you delay is one more moment your body continues to suffer from high blood pressure. Go to the sink now and perform your first cold water ritual. Feel the cold water touching your face, feel your breathing slowing, feel your body relaxing. This is the first step on a transformative journey. And while you're practicing the ritual, visualize your arteries relaxing, your heart beating calmly and regularly, your blood pressure normalizing. See yourself 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, living a completely different life, free from constant fear, with energy and vitality. Doing everything you love without limitations. This better version of yourself already exists as a possibility. It's just waiting for you to take the necessary actions to bring it into reality. I believe in you. I know you have within you the strength, determination, and wisdom necessary to overcome this challenge. Thousands of people have done it before you, and you can do it too. One day at a time, one healthy choice at a time, one ritual at a time, you will build a life of greater health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching until the end. Thank you for trusting me to guide you on this journey. Thank you for being part of this community of people who have chosen to take control of their health. We'll see you in the next video with more valuable information for your healing journey. Until then, take care of yourself, practice the ritual, be kind to yourself, and always remember, you deserve health, you deserve peace, you deserve a full life. A big hug, and may God bless you abundantly.